all to please download the app because today's session will be going to be very interactive to all of you. I request you all to please download the app, and if you have not registered yet, please register yourself at the registration desk. We are going to start very soon. I request you all to please download the app. A QR code is given on your respective tables at the table 10, a tabletop. register yourself at the registration desk as we are going to start very soon. There's a tabletop, a table tent on your respective tables that the QR code is given. This session is going to be super excited and super innovative because there will be a lot of interactive sessions. For that, you have to download the app. A QR code has been given on the table tent on your respective tables. Please download the app. Thank you so much. Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot hear. Good evening. Oh my God, I have to come between you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? I cannot hear. I request everyone to please take your respective seats. We are going to commence this interactive session in a very short while. Meanwhile, may I come in between and ask everyone, so how are you? I cannot hear. Where is the energy? I know the weather is little bad today, but mood should not be that bad. How are you doing? Okay. We have to put a lot of energy, sir. So we are on the same note. How are you doing? That's the spirit from the right side of my. I request everyone who are standing at the back and chit-chatting. I'm here to chit-chat a lot. I request everyone to please join us here on the respective tables. How many of you have registered yet? किसी ने हाथ ऊपर नहीं किया. No one has registered. Everyone you have registered, right? And how many of you have actually downloaded the app? There's a tabletop and table tent on your respective tables. There's a QR code given there. From there, you have to download the app, log into that app. All the instructions are given on that table tent top. All the instructions are given, ladies and gentlemen. So I believe here, everyone are you from pharma industry must be knowing each other. सब इतना confused रहते हैं तो मैं बहुत confused हो जाती हूँ. How many of you actually know each other? How many of you? Only 2 people know each other? Let's do something. I expect everyone who are standing at the back. Can you take your seats? Okay. How many of you know each other? How many of you? Good. Few people they know. So we know each other. How are you doing? So there's a quick activity. All of you, there's a chance. You know that it's a saying. Your net worth is your network. If you don't know people, if you don't have that right numbers, ladies and gentlemen, in your phone list, you don't have any network. It's time to network with each other. There's a small activity, choti si activity, a very small thing which you have to do is that all the respective tables, this table number here, table number here, table, everyone is sitting on their respective tables. You have to go and meet 5 people. Go, ask their name, shake hands. I'll be giving 2 minutes to you. Come on. Do it. Come on. Know each other. Come on. Move from your tables. Go to another table. Shake hands with them. Move, know their names. Let your network be your network tonight. Move to each other. हाथ मिलाओ, जानो एक दूसरे को, उनका नंबर ले लो, उनसे मिलो, उनके visiting cards लो, anything you do. You have 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, 2 minutes. Come on, quick. Let's make it very quick. Whoo! Okay, shake hands with each other. Know your name. Take visiting cards. Cards exchange कीजिए, नाम लीजिए, phone numbers लीजिए, interact कीजिए. Before we officially commence this evening, where knowledge sharing is the only thing, where innovation is the only thing we are going to do tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. How many of you? I believe that everyone, come back to your seats, come back to your seats now. Come on. So, is there any energy in the house? थोड़ी energy आई. Okay. Is there any energy? अभी भी नहीं आई. So, how many of you have actually exchanged cards with each other or taken their numbers? How many of you? A few of them. ले लिया आज मौके पे चौका मारी देते हैं. So you have to, okay, energy abhi bhi high hai. Why such pharma people? The energy is so low. We'll do one more thing. We have a lot of time. So this session is going to be super fantastic tonight because interactions will be there, chatting will be there, exchanging ideas, everything will be there. So what you have to do, sir, you have to keep the music ready. So what you have to do with me, when I keep my hand up in the air, you have to make your hand up in the air. Please, up in the air, your hand. One hand. Now, down and up and down. Everyone, up. पीछे वाले भी. And when I say right, left, right, left, with energy, right, left, with energy, with energy. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And now you have to do with music. Music, please. Come on. Music clap fast. नीचे, up. Come on, move, move. Move, move, move your hands. नीचे. Come on. Okay, energy, energy, energy. Up आई कुछ energy. Ladies and gentlemen, did you feel that energy and the positive vibes on you? Should we start? I cannot hear. Should we start? That's the spirit. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Danher's Pharma Leadership Forum 2026. It is my pleasure to be hosting this night with fantastic leaders, experts, pioneers of this industry. You know, everyone say that rain brings a lot of growth and innovation. And despite of this weather, you all have chosen to be here to exchange ideas for growth, innovations. For this, give a round of applause to all of you. Give a round of applause for yourself. Despite of the weather, you are here. Thank you so much from the entire team. A very warm welcome to Danher's Pharma Leadership Forum 2026, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is Vibhuti Yadav, and I will be hosting this fantastic evening with pioneers and experts of this industry. Thank you so much. एक बार जोरदार तालियां फिर से हो जाए. Energy should be had throughout the session. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. This mic is better. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, leaders, experts, pioneers of the industry from across life sciences ecosystem. A very warm welcome to the heritage city of Ahmedabad. We are here. Welcome to the Pharma Leadership Forum 2026, accelerating molecule to market through integrated innovations, presented by Danher Corporations. I am Vibhuti Yadav, and I will be hosting this innovative session where experts will be sharing their ideas. Experts will be here talking about innovations. Experts will be here. You know that when sciences are here, they talk about innovation. We grow like anything. The country grows into superpowers. That is the power of pharma. That is the Pharma Leadership Forum. It's an exclusive gathering of senior leaders from India's pharmaceutical and biotechnological industry under the theme, Accelerating Molecule to Market through Integrated Innovation. This forum brings CXOs and leaders from manufacturing, quality, regulatory affairs, research and development, and commercial functions to discuss innovation, operation excellence, regulatory readiness strategies that will shape the future of India's pharmaceutical system, ladies and gentlemen. Distinguished leaders, delegated, esteemed speakers, as we embark this journey of knowledge sharing today, innovation is going through various changes, and so is today's speaker. So, at this, I would like to invite Mr. Atul Shah, General Manager, Beckman Culture Life Sciences, to please join us here on stage and begin this session with energy and positive vibes. Thank you so much.
Thank you and good evening, friends. It's really a pleasure to welcome you all here, particularly the kind of rains that we have seen in last 2 days. The efforts that all of you must have made to come here seems to be, I think, more of planning than what a business meeting would have really required. So a big round of applause. This really shows the kind of resilience that you all have shown and come here to make this event a big success. Uh, I welcome you on behalf of Danaher and all its operating companies. Uh, for many of us who have not met, use this event as a networking event to exchange ideas, to be close to one another across the industry. The whole idea of us to bring this forum out as a pharma leadership team in Ahmedabad is to ensure that we also come together among different operating companies that we have been operating till now, coming together under the roof of Danaher. Not many people know that Leica, Beckman, Cytiva, Cyex, and many other brands of operating companies are a part of a Danaher group. And that's the reason why I thought that, we would want each and every one of you to uh, understand where we come from. At the same time, we want to listen to kind of inputs that you have, the thoughts that you have about this market, about the whole industry, the way this is going forward, what is the tech really doing in your field, uh, how you are really able to use the technology which can help you overcome the challenges and definitely, increase your productivity. And with that, I welcome you all again for this. Looking forward for more interaction going forward today evening. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Atul sir. Thank you for being and setting the tone for this event. Thank you so much for being here. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I told you that why innovation has no boundaries, so is our next session. No boundaries at all. May I have the honor to invite Mr. Sanjay Murdeshwar, Regional President, India, Danaher Corporation, who will be joining us virtually, ladies and gentlemen. So, innovation has no boundaries. So, it is my pleasure to welcome Sanjay Murdeshwar, Regional President, India, Danaher Corporation, with nearly 25 years of leadership experience through pharmaceuticals, diagnostics, and life sciences. Mr. Mudeshwar has held senior leadership position with renowned organizations including Novartis, AstraZeneca, and Bayer. Throughout his career, he has led transformational business innovations across United States, Europe, and Asia with strong focus on science, innovation, and excellence. So, ladies and gentlemen, all your eyes on the screen as he will be joining us virtually for sharing ideas on innovations as he will be talking on the topic Danher's vision for India's life sciences future. All your eyes on the screen. Join your hands together for Mr. Sanjay Mudeshwar.
All, thank you so much, and I hope you can hear me. Good evening to everybody. Um, I really, really wish that I could be there in Ahmedabad to really interact with each and every one of you, but unfortunately, I think it was not possible. I guess the water situation in Mumbai coming down is slightly more difficult than in Ahmedabad. But again, thank you so much for coming down and especially for this session where hopefully I think we can have loads of exchange of ideas on the next phase of life sciences and healthcare, especially in our country and more specifically Ahmedabad. We have been having these sessions across India, but the most important one was really in Ahmedabad, which is really for all practical purposes the uh, the really center of pharmaceuticals and innovation with very, very interesting and important companies in Ahmedabad, and more importantly, very interesting and important talented scientists, researchers, and manufacturing people also based out of Ahmedabad. What I will try to do today is give you a perspective of about Danner, a little about us and what we feel and where we feel that innovation is going at this moment. Um, I'll just give a quick background on Danner, and maybe I could use the slides, please. Thank you. Yeah, well, that's my photograph, which I think we will move to the next slide. Um, yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, just we'll stop here. Well, first of all, again, as I said, we are a very, very interesting company. Danaher, by the way, is a company which has been there for 40 years. So this is our 40th year. We are a United States-based company, and we started off as a industrial tools company 40 years ago. But over the last 5 to 6 years, we have really focused all our efforts in becoming a true life sciences and diagnostic innovation company. I mean, that's really what we are as a company, and therefore we used to be 6 years ago, nearly 40 different businesses. But now, of course, we have narrowed down to more specifically 18 businesses that we have, which we have, of course, spread across the biotechnology area, where we have Cytiva. Most of you must be knowing about Cytiva. Then we have life sciences, which is the second platform that we have, with a number of machine tools, analytical tools, consumable company. And last but not the least, we have diagnostics, and we do everything from consumables to equipment and all types of testing for cancer, for blood, for and so on and so forth. So it's been a company that has really been evolving over the last 40 years, but really the last 5 to 6 years, we are a dedicated science and life sciences and diagnostic company. We are approximately $25 billion in business, of which diagnostics is the biggest business that we have. Diagnostics, we are by far probably the first, for the biggest or the second biggest diagnostic company in the world, medical technology rather. In Cytiva, of course, we have a huge market share in supporting our partners all across the world in especially biologics, cell and gene, antibody conjugates, and so on and so forth. And of course, life sciences, where we support you on the discovery side and clinical development analytical tools. So that's really our company now, a very dedicated science company. As you see, it's a value chain where we would like to work with partners, everything from discovery to manufacturing. We are not a pharmaceutical company, so we'll never ever manufacture products, and that's not our intent, but really to be your partner in making you successful as we build our company. Next slide, please. So you'll see our company really has been a very interesting one, and we have a huge impact. 90% of all global production volumes of approved monoclonal antibodies in 2024, we as a company are spec'd in, and we support all of these monoclonal antibodies. Most of the cell and gene therapy drug manufacturers, nearly more than 50% of them, again, we work with these manufacturers both on the research side and also the drug development side. We have, of course, a company which is SciEx, and so hopefully some of you or most of you are using our mass spec equipment, where approximately 70% of all new drugs which are approved by the FDA in 2024, especially for cancer, have been using our SciEx technology. We are more or less with 100% of the top 20 pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies in the world. Everybody from J&J globally to the top 20, whether we work with them in the discovery labs, we help them in manufacturing, or we work them in terms of analytical tools. So it's really a wide company. On a daily basis, our diagnostic business, which we have nearly 1 million diagnostic tests per day just by a Beckman Coulter diagnostic company. And you'll see Leica Biosystems, which is another company that we have. We enable nearly 1.5 million tests for cancer every week around the world. So what we like to do is work with hospitals, with labs, with biopharmaceutical companies, with academia, with industrial solutions, so that we can help and work with our partners to genuinely drive impacting healthcare and impacting lives. And a very important element for us, for India, is about how do we make sure that every specific person has access to healthcare, and therefore how we as Danaher can work with biopharmaceutical companies and other technologies in India, that we can genuinely help access of medicine to as many people as possible. And that's really what we really are in for. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So you'll see that I think they've run out of that slide. Yeah. Next slide, please. I apologize for the technical issue, but would love to show the audience. Next slide, please. Yeah. Yes. No, I think the previous slide, please. Again, I apologize for, yeah, next slide, please. Slide number 6. Yeah, yeah. So I think what we would like to talk about today is really about the entire Danaher life sciences area. And our vision is to make sure that we bring discovery, we bring research, we bring manufacturing as fast as possible to the patient. And our vision very clearly is that how can we improve the drug candidate success rate by nearly 25%. So that's what we have been working with academia, with the NIH in the US, or with Oxford or Cambridge, and certainly with a lot of our partners here in India too, in making sure that we can improve the drug candidate success. And of course, to make sure that we can do that not only fast, but at a higher yield, and certainly at a lower cost too. That's our intent, because finally what we would like to do is make sure that we have access of medicines to as many patients as possible, and how we can partner with biopharmaceuticals. Next slide, please. So you'll see that what our intent is a company is to make sure that our entire portfolio of products that we have, that we can really help our customers, we can help our partners for workflow solutions, that we really have become partners, that we can work with our experts that we have, the experts that you have within your ecosystem, and make sure that we can create very specific solutions for each of our partners, so that they can continuously make improvements in their systems, in their processes, in their businesses. We have something called the Danaher Business System, which is really the magic that we have. What Danaher Business System does is that we work with a lot of our customers so that we can accelerate their innovation and accelerate their productivity. This is something that is virtually a patented solution that we have, a very important element of how we work with our customers, but more importantly, how we work with ourselves within a company. Next slide, please. So I think just to give you a quick snapshot on how we work with partners across the world, this is just a quick example of Cytiva, which is one of our businesses. So everything from preclinical to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, all the way to commercial post-launch is where we work with our partners. For process design and validation services, something that we just opened in India, actually in January of this year in Bengaluru. So what we do is that here we work with a lot of our customers to improve the yield and really improve their process economics. So we have lots of examples that we work with partners where, for example, they'll have 3 milligrams per liter in terms of yield. We work with them on our systems in Bengaluru to bring your solutions, and we have brought it as high as 7, 8, 9 milligrams per liter in India. So that's one of the things that we would like to do with all our partners in process design, validation services, which we have in India. We manufacture most of our biomanufacturing, our bioreactors in India, but we also do it across the world. Because of this expertise, we can work all the way from the cell expansion and production to the polishing and filtration and all the way to the drug product fill. So across the board, we work with our partners. Globally, of course, Cytiva, we have hubs across the world. India is certainly one of them, manufacturing sites as well as R&D and innovation that we work with our customers to make sure that we can really work on their specific workflow and improve their yield. And nearly 50,000 associates around the world, specifically in Cytiva, work there. Next slide, please. So you'll see this is one of the examples of Danner partnerships. This is probably one of the top 10 large global pharmaceutical companies. So what we have worked with them is very simply all across the workflow. So what we do is that we actually have commit very measurable efficiency gains with technologies from across our portfolio because they're all can be connected and have very high level of data. We work with them in terms of their workflow reviews. We work with them with demos. And we work with a lot of our experts to make sure that can we build their automation and analytical skills and equipments across their solutions and across in their respective labs and manufacturing setup. And then we also have a digital wing, which is called IDBS and Gene Data, which is excellent because within the whole ecosystem, we can also generate the data required for filing, whether it's for regulators in India or across the world. And I think this is the way that we can really make sure that we can reduce the time compared to the current workflow, which we did with our EcoMS solution from nearly 25 hours to just 14 minutes. That's because what we do is that since it's a workflow solution, this is a very good example on how we work with, I think, our partners end to end. Next solution, please. And therefore, we have such workflows mapped, leveraging our subject matter experts across the world in a very, very systematic manner. And all of this is not a theoretical exercise. We have actually worked with specific companies, the previous slide, to make sure that we can help them in monoclonal antibodies for a very specific area where some of our partners may like about primary and secondary screening. We work with them with all of our solutions, our workflow solutions, on how we can improve their yield and reduce their cost and improve their speed. Or it could be a solution in oligos, which is the big thing at this moment in time. Number of the new discoveries are happening in oligonucleotides. So again, working with companies very specifically for either a plasmid development or a nanoparticle development, and so on and so forth. So you can see whether it's MABs, small molecules, RNA, cell and gene, or just specific biomarkers for proteomics. We work with different partners with very clear workflow that we can improve it. So this is something which I would really encourage you to discuss more with our teams on how we can work and help each and every one of you to make sure we can really become more efficient. Next slide, please. So this is a great example, and this is really an impactful example. I do not know if you have heard of this specific case. This is the first specific genomic medicine solution, a gene therapy solution in the world that we worked with. We worked with universities in the United States with our different elements, with our different equipment companies as solutions. And this was really important because this specific baby, when he was born, had urea cycle disorder. It's a very rare generic disorder, and it impairs, the body's ability to clear ammonia from the bloodstream. So basically, what we needed to do to make sure that how can we create solutions that we can have specific identified gene therapy to solve the problem of this specific baby. Whether it was acute management or chronic management was the current solution. But the emerging therapy is what we are working on. This is some of the areas that we have been working with very clear genomic medicines, where we use CRISPR-based editing of the specific gene, which offers a very, very specific potential targeted correction of this enzyme deficiency that we have. This has been really a massive, massive breakthrough in gene editing, in how we can absolutely solve problems of very difficult areas. And the reason we could do that, next slide, please, is because we work across the ecosystem of our various companies. We have Aldebaran, which does a lot of work on cell and gene, IDT, which again has a lot of assay solutions. And we work with different universities, UPenn or Broad Institute or MIT, to really flag together end to end, all the way from genetic diagnosis, all the way to actually the patient receiving the second dose of the specific product. What did we do? And it was really important we do that. We could compress a 3 to 5 year drug development and a 1.5 year manufacturing process after that into a timeline less than 6 months. So just imagine we have cut nearly 6.5 years of overall development and manufacturing to less than 6 months with this very innovative technology, whether it was scoping and contracting, working with the specific RNA elements. And this is really the type of technology that we would like, I think, more and more of our partners would like to work with, besides the various. But we are very proud of this, especially because one of the companies for CRISPR certainly is a Nobel Prize winner, and we are very pleased to be working with all of these very specific giants in the world of genomics. Next slide, please. So I think just to give you that example on very simple small molecules to all the way to genetic disorders, we would love to partner with biopharmaceutical companies, academia, research, so that we can genuinely partner and have solutions that can help each and every of the patients, but more importantly, with our partners who also would like to bring access of their medicines as soon as possible to patients in India. Again, thank you so much for being here. I truly again apologize for not being there in person. It's always good to have a face-to-face interaction. I apologize for that again, but I hope you have a very good evening in this session, and hopefully the rain subsides in Ahmedabad. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay sir. Thank you for sharing your ideas here. Thank you for being virtually present with all of us. Thank you so much. It means a lot of us. So before moving ahead to our next session, I'd like to request all of you, there's a tabletop on your respective tables. There's a QR code given. Please download the app, because next session is going to be very interactive session. There will be a poll in that app which you have to log in. So please download the app, log in into that app and go to that agenda session, agenda point. Have you done that? Thank you, ma'am. So download the app, log in to that app, go into agenda and join our next session, because an interesting poll will be out there and you will be interacting during that poll. So, how many of you have done that? I repeat again, please download the app, go into that agenda session and join the only panel discussion which is going right now. Have you done that? So, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving ahead to a very interesting segment of this session. For that, you have to download the app. Please log in, go to the agenda section, and join the panel discussion which is going right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, best ideas are born when diverse perspectives come together for a discussion, for conversations, for these conversations. Such ideas boom like anything. Our next session is of such exclusive mindset people who are pioneers, expert in their industries, who will be talking on how India can strengthen its position as global innovation and CRDMO powerhouse by moving beyond cost driven manufacturing. Industry leaders will discuss the role of advanced therapies, digital transformation, strategic partnership, talent development, and supportive policy frameworks in accelerating India's journey towards becoming preferred global partner for pharmaceutical innovation and contract development manufacturing. For this session, Mr. Kshitij Vijay Varghya, Managing Director and Partner, Boston Consulting Group, BCG, will be moderating. He will be acting as a moderator. Please join your hands together for Mr. Kshitij Vijay Varghya. Ladies and gentlemen, Managing Director and Partner, Boston Consulting Group, BCG. For the panelists, it is my honor to invite Dr. Tulip Nawal, Vice President and Head of CGT and Business Excellence in TAS Pharmaceutical Limited. Join your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Tulip. Dr. Suman Bandyopadhyay, Vice President and Head of Product Development, Kashif Biosciences LLC. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Suman Bandyopadhyay. And last not the least, Dr. Arni Chatterjee, President Kerala Pharmaceutical Limited. She will be joining us virtually, ladies and gentlemen, for this panel discussion. This session will be going to be very interactive session. There will be a poll for which you have to download the app. Again, is there anyone who have not downloaded the app? Thank you so much. Our respected moderator is here. Our panelists are also here, and they will be talking upon unleashing the tiger. Can India become the world's innovation and CRDMO hub? This is the topic you have to log in through your apps also. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me start by thanking Danaher for organizing this event and our lovely organizing team to keep the spirits high and make sure that we are all here despite the rains. Thank you so much to every one of you. Uh, the context, as highlighted, is can India become the trusted partner for global innovation, especially in the context of CRDMOs? Just to set the context, at this point of time, India's CRDMO industry is roughly $3.5 billion. That is less than 3% of the global industry. The global industry, which stands at $150 billion. Now, on the global innovation index, India has, of course, ranked up from 81st in 2015. So now we are ranking on 39 in 2024. That's real progress. But I think overall, we are very, very out of the top tier of players. Talking about talent, at this point of time in India, CRDMO workforce stands at roughly 50,000 people. To give you context, that's the number that China had in 2015. Today, their workforce in similar space is upwards of 200,000 people. So that's a massive, massive gap that we are talking about. On continuing to that, right, in terms of what will it take for us to leapfrog this, let me actually invite Dr. Chatterjee online. Dr. Chatterjee, hi, good evening to you. You are able to hear us?
Hi, Kshitij. Good evening and good evening to all the audience.
Lovely. So let me direct my first question to you, Dr. Chatterjee. In your career spanning over the last many decades, you have seen innovation play out from multiple different angles. You've been part of the Dr. Reddy's Foundation. You worked on vaccines at Panacea. You're now leading R&D at Kadila. If we have to think about India's journey on innovation, what is the one or two structural things that is still missing in India that will make India leapfrog the journey? And why are those reasons critical? Let me hand it over to you.
Thank you. So, like you said, I have been fortunate to have started my career in the pharmaceutical industry, which is now more than 28 years. It was in Dr. Reddy's Research Foundation in Hyderabad, which no longer exists today. But at that time, it was one of the very few centers involved in drug discovery of new chemical entities. Because we realized, even as far as back then, that for India to move up the value chain in the pharmaceutical industry, we have to have innovation, not just the API and generic formulations, and move beyond that to coming up with our own products. So there were a few centers like that at that time, like Ranbaxy and Dr. Reddy's and Wokhard. And then going forward, we have now some more of them like Zydus in Ahmedabad, my own company, Cadila Pharma from Ahmedabad, then Spark, the Sun Pharma Advanced Research Center, then Glenmark. So while we continue to build our strength in the CRDMO and the generics and other business verticals, we must at the same time develop parallel competency in coming out with innovative products. Now, these are individual companies, Indian companies. But recently, what has happened is also that multinational companies have realized that talent in India is untapped. And this was already known earlier in the IT sector when multinationals like Google, Microsoft, and others built huge um, centers in India to engage the IT workforce. The same thing has happened recently in the pharma sector also, where the global capability centers or the GCCs, which have now come up in a big way. So starting with, let's say, Novartis, which already had a center in Hyderabad for a long time, and now a bunch of other companies have also started have put up their GCCs in India, like Roche and Amgen and MSD and many others. So that's a different model, kind of, but with the same objective. That is, to foster innovation in India. And obviously, I should mention two other points in passing. That is the government's drive for Atmanirbhar India and Make in India. So both can come about only when we have innovation along with our other initiatives like generics and formulations, because that is when we can offer our population and also the global population with life saving and state of the art products. And if I can say so, this was seen during the COVID-19, when India was one of the few countries to have its own vaccine, as well as the ability to supply, provide literally billions of doses of vaccine to its own population, as also supply the vaccine to many other countries in the world. So to summarize, innovation is a very integral part of any industry. I'm not just saying, pharma industry, but definitely in the pharma industry. And India has been striving for this over the last 3 decades and is now well on its way to becoming a global force. Thank you.
I really like the optimism that Dr. Chatterjee shared here. Uh, the numbers, of course, tell a story which is probably a little bit more subdued. With the uh, just taking biologics as an example, right? The global biologics CDMO industry itself is upwards of 25 billion, and India has a very small share. We spoke about ADCs. There was a discussion about gene therapy just before in this. We talk about cell therapies and so on. Uh, Globally those therapies are growing very fast, 40-50% growth rates, and in India, of course there is a start, but we are still probably very far away from that. uh, Maybe on the biologic side, Dr. Noval, asking you, right, I spoke China has probably a head start of 10-15 years from us, but there is a lot of effort that is being done in India to progress on that agenda. Um, I think the question to you is, what is the real right to win that India has in terms of biologics? What are some of the steps that organizations are taking to accelerate on that right to win? What segments, and what do we need to do to win a larger share?
So, um, am I audible? Yeah. So, see, biologics from an India perspective, and here there are a lot of people who have made a career in biologics here, right? Is largely governed through a biosimilars development and path. And if you look at there, serious players of biosimilars in India are handful. You can literally count them on your fingers. And of those, very few are still approved in the so-called lucrative markets of Europe and the US, which is the hallmark. We may have more than 100 biosimilars approved in India, again, coming out of these few handful of companies, but that's not the gold standard. And we can say that we have a very good regulatory body that's now um, improving their game, and they're coming at par with FDA and EMA, but it's still not there yet. And getting an approval in India is still considered something that is an easier path than getting an approval in, say, European or any other Western world. And if you now talk in terms of numbers, I think less than $1 billion would be the export market for biosimilars, all Indian companies put together. And some of them are based out of Ahmedabad. So it's still a low value right now. What we have is huge volume. We have targeted the kind of biosimilars of filgrastim, pegfilgrastim, the ones which now go in probably millions of units out of the country. But we are still not playing on the value aspect. So and as the speaker earlier was mentioning, that now the shift has to happen from volume to value, all right? That change has to happen. Now that can happen through innovative biologics. That can happen through next generation biologics that we're talking about, which can be in the form of cell and gene therapies or any such, I would say, genomic medicines, which will come into the play. But it will definitely not remain as the same playbook like we had with biosimilars. This is again going down the same path of small molecule generics, right? We had captured the market. We almost supply close to 47%, 50% maybe. You guys would have better numbers, and being a consulting firm, of the US generics. But of that, the value wise, I think we are less than 15, 20%, right? 30%, something like that. 30, 13%. So clearly you see the stark difference, 50% volume, but 13% is the value. So that has to change if we really want to compete in the leagues of China. China has been really smart. They completely bypassed the whole biosimilars game, and they've moved on to innovative biologics. Most of the Indian companies now, I don't know how many of you have kept up to speed, have now in-licensed innovative biologics from these Chinese companies, and they have marketed them in Europe, US, and in India, right? Intas is also one of them. So that is the path that they have taken. They have now become somebody who is supplying innovative molecules than being me too kind of a product, which is what China is largely known for. So, and me being in cell and gene therapy, I'm placing my bets on this. And going forward, probably all the allied services of cell and gene therapy, the contractual manufacturing, the contractual development, would then become the next space where we could gain more value for our investments and for our talent that we deploy here. So that's what I would have to add to it.
Very, very, very relevant. At this point, maybe I would open up the poll that our host was speaking briefly about. If you go to the app, and to the tech team, maybe you can throw the first poll out. There is a trial poll, and then the first question, and the question is around which capability do you believe Indian CRDMOs and innovative companies would need most to become global innovation partners? Maybe take 30 seconds to go through and answer, and then we'll continue the conversation forward.
I would be curious to know what people actually think when they are clicking on integrated molecule to market platform. That basically defines an entire company, right from R&D to commercialization. So what is it that you think when you say the whole platform, right?
Okay. So maybe towards the end we are going to have the poll results, and we'll do a little bit of discussion. I think one of the things that we have spoken a lot is where is the talent going to come from? Talent is going to be very, very important. Uh, we are building some talent, uh, but if you look at some of the facts again, if you look at productivity per scientist, Indian scientists are operating at a 30-40% lower productivity compared to China at this point of time. Uh, Attrition is high, 15 to 20%, potentially in some of the organizations even higher. Uh, uh, so as you think about, and I would direct it to Dr. Suman, uh, when you think about building a new modality team or a biologics team or an innovation team, uh, what is the harder problem? Is it about getting the people with the right skills, or is it about once you've found the people and trained the people, retaining them and getting them to perform? And if you have to think about initiatives that your organization has taken to make them successful and grow, what are some of those insights?
Thank you. So as this session is pretty interactive with poll, so I'd like to ask this audience first. Talent is the most critical investment. How many of you believe? Please raise your hand. So almost everyone raised their hand, and then I don't think there is anyone in this room who doesn't believe in that, right? So it is one of the most critical. And we heard Tulip was saying volume versus value, which is very critical. And we started with the note that where are we standing in terms of global scenario. So we need to expand in the number of talent as we grow, as a Indian diaspora for CRDMO business or biologics or cell and gene therapy. So we do have a strong base for sure. So there are, considering the number of population in India and then undergraduate that we get every year. A big pull up, new talents come out. Uh, However, the demand is more, as we know that from the published BCG IPSO literature, that 6 to 7 fold more of this talent pool is needed by 2035. Correct? Now comes to the quantity versus quality, where we are heading. So this large pool of undergraduate, are they really employable? Whenever we get them, what kind of training we need to impart and where they are standing. We know in today's business in India, whenever we get fresh pools from colleges, uh, they are not industry ready. That is for sure. I think all of us believe that. We need to impart significant training. There are some finishing schools also. We hire students from there, freshers from there. But are they ready yet? This is the one of the basic difference. What I observed other side of the world versus in India. So the students, freshers who are coming out of the colleges, particularly in our business, are not industry ready. This is my observation. You may differ, but this is in general. Now, what about the, this is for undergraduate. There's a large pool. What about the postgraduate and PhDs? So talented people who get opportunity move out of India, do their higher studies and don't come back. Rarely some people like us, Tulip, myself, and some of our colleagues have come back, taken the call. For what reason, I don't know. But the practical thing is that 90% of them don't come back. What is the scenario? What is the what is the other place? We have spoken about China. One statistic says that 80% of the students in the same report who were there in US between 2016 to 19, 80% of them, 80, they have returned to China. So what is the forces that is attracting them? These are the global talent pool. We know that China is there somewhere, and then we are trying to reach there. But it also depends on the manpower, the talent force that drives that. And also that we heard from Tulip, this new modalities, gene therapy, cell therapy, RNA, peptides, all of these are, I think, at some level, we don't teach those, how to make those in our academia. So there is a huge gap. So we are speaking about quality versus quantity here. So what should we do to mitigate these? I just put down some points. There is some responsibility that all of us should actually share. Some responsibility definitely goes to academia, where the gap today in the curricula, we should minimize that. We should have a discussion. There is a responsibility both from academia as well as from industry. What do we need to train this talent pool? New modalities should be introduced into the curricula. More institutes at the national level, national importance level, they should get built. It's very handful today. India is a big country, but it's very handful. And another very important thing is that industry academia partnership. Does it really exist? So whatever we heard, even Dana heard, there are a lot of participations. There are a lot of problem sharing, which if we do in real life, I think we get better talent pool, and then a lot of problem can get solved at the industry level. And there is one more thing that I first personally, as you shared, asked me to share some of the experience. Talents try to get higher degree, PhD degree while working in industry. Is there any true model exist? So it doesn't today. So those kind of thing needs to be developed. From industry side, what we can do to attract. So there are two things. One, attract talent, and second is the retain talent. To attract talent is very simple. you want to attract global talent, you need to pay them. so at the global standard,
Which is what China did.
which China did, and then people came back, 80% came back.
Exactly.
But I think there is the reality. There is the hard reality. If we need to attract talent, because I face this personally, someone told, okay, I want to come back, but what is the reality in the pay package? If we can mitigate that, definitely this talent pool which is missing today would be here. And then to retain, what kind of upskilling that industries are thinking. Everyone wants that upskilling, training, exposure, as well as financial incentives. From government side, I can tell maybe to attract expats, some special schemes, incentives, which China is also doing, those should be implemented. Then our global, we would be able to attract global pool. We would be able to train our new generations with the industry need, and then India would become the superpower.
Thank you so much. I think the shift from volume to value would need a little
I
bit
just
of
have
this.
one question. At the beginning of this, you just said Indians are probably 30 to 40% less productive than the baseline. So, what kind of data is that? How does that inference come in?
So this is basically number of experiments and tests that are done per scientist in Indian companies versus China.
Okay. Maybe that justifies the lower pay.
So, so it's debatable. However, experiment also depends on the automation. What kind of system that we do have? All of us work in lab. We build up a system which runs 10 years old technology. Bring the latest technology, which is expensive, which is really expensive. And not only that, we can buy a machine. Running the machine takes tenfold more than the cost of the machine itself.
That's true.
Are we there to run that? No. Here, labor is cheap, as you asked.
That's true.
No, it is true. A lot of technology is on display right here. I'm not doing a plug for Danahar, but anyway, uh, moving on.
So, as technology is also advancing and distance has no barriers when we, especially about knowledge sharing and expertise, as we welcome Dr. Kashinath Vishwanathan, Head in Vitro Biology Scientist Research Center, who's joining us virtually, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Kashinath Vishwanathan has joined us virtually in this panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Dr. Kasina, thank you so much for joining. Welcome.
Hi,
Let me
hi
come
everyone. My
come to
apologies.
you.
My
Are able to hear
apologies
us?
not to be there physically. It just the weather was so bad and some emergencies came and I had to attend to that. I'm missing this forum. I'm really missing to meet all you in person. Um, glad to be here at least virtually.
Thank you so much for taking out the time. Let me come to you in a moment, but before that, going to Dr. Chatterjee again, and Dr. Suman mentioned a little bit about whether the talent is really ready and deployable on day one. Dr. Chatterjee, Kadila has been doing a lot of work and has been guiding the Life Sciences Skills Development Council (LSSDC). Now, of course, the common critique is a lot of graduates that are turning up and folks who are turning up are not ready for deploying. So, what are some of the specific outcomes that you are seeing, which you are driving with LSSDC in terms of bridging this gap? Dr. Chatterjee, if you're here.
Yes, thank you. So, before I go into the specific question which you asked, I would like to just supplement a few points which Dr. Suman said about the investment in skill development. So I'll just first give you some numbers, like Dr. Suman mentioned that need to build institutes of higher education in India. And I have taken the same year, 1998, when I joined the pharmaceutical industry as the benchmark, because of the lack of any other suitable benchmark. So if you see, today, there are 23 functional IITs operating in India. In 1998, the number was 6. Today, there are 22 Indian Institutes of Management. Again, in 1998, the number was 6. If you come specifically to pharmaceutical industry, today there are 7 operational NIPERs. In 1998, the number was just 1, NIPER Mohali. So definitely, there is thrust on building institutes of higher learning, as you can see with these numbers. Then if you talk at the national level, the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, MSDE, it actually did not exist some time back. So it was first constituted under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and then came into independent existence in 2014. So having a dedicated ministry for skill development and entrepreneurship is definitely, a sign from the government of India that India needs to invest in skill development. And complementing those, the functions under that ministry, the National Skill Development Corporation or NSDC to prepare Indian talent for global careers through international skill standards and mobility pathways. Then there is the Skill India mission, which aims to build on this initiative. If you talk about other industries other than pharma, then you have the AI mission, the semicon mission, which are again big, huge investments from the government. So if I come to Cadila in particular, and even before going into the LSSSDC, some of you may know that Cadila is one of the few pharma industries, and I think the trend is now increasing to also have an academic institution, that is the Indrashil University, which trains students in the undergraduate and postgraduate life sciences areas like B Pharm, M Pharm, and many other degrees. So there is a direct role of the company, mother company basically, in having a parallel academic institution to impart higher education to students. And the advantage that these students have is because of the Cadila Pharma's existence. There is a formal program to train these students by Cadila Pharma professionals who go there on a regular basis and undertake trainings for these students so that they are industry ready when they pass out. And these students, as well as students from many other universities, both in Gujarat as well as outside Gujarat in India, come and do their internships in Cadila Pharma, which I am sure is a practice with other companies also. So it's a two-way program that company going and taking sessions in the university, and then the university sending these students to company for their internship, so that ultimately the goal is that when they pass out, they are ready to join the industry if they wish to do so, and they have the requisite skills to do that. Finally, now coming to the last question which you asked, that under this NSDC, there is a particular group, that is the LSSSDC, Life Sciences Sector Skill Development Corporation. So they are the life sciences. This sector is now, this body is now conducting a survey in 2026 for the life sciences sector skill gap, and it is targeting 25 subsectors, 5 subsectors, 25 plus industry segments, 1000 plus skills. and it has 500 plus target respondents, with Cadila Pharma also being one of the companies invited to take part in this survey. And it will obviously assess what is the skill gap, especially in the life sciences sector, and then what measures are needed to address those skill gaps, so that going forward, this life sciences sector can be better skilled, and more skilled people can join the life sciences sector. So that exercise is still underway and should be completed by this year. And Cadila Pharma is privileged to be part of this initiative from the Government of India. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's quite inspiring, and I hope that more and more companies join these kind of initiatives, increase the availability of talent. Uh, Dr. Suman had mentioned briefly about technology. Let me come to you, Dr. Kasinath. Technology is playing an increasing role in research and innovation. Uh, you know, uh, Now, of course, there is the physical technology of better machines and equipment, but there is also the digital technologies. We are talking about AI. AI is the buzzword. Organizations are getting multi-trillion-dollar valuation on back of AI. Uh, everyone claims that AI is accelerating timelines, cutting costs. Uh, what have been your experience in leveraging technology and AI? Is it playing a real role in your daily work these days? And what is an area that you would expect AI to make significant impacts in the future as you think about innovation? Dr. Kasinath, to you.
Great. Thanks for the question. I mean, this is very important and very timely, very relevant. Now, AI is a buzzword everywhere, right? So it's also in the drug discovery part of it. But how much we are into it and what is the success stories that we have got? That's a one part of it. Before going there, AI cannot function on its own without a data set that you can have, the machine learning with all the data sets that one can have. Now, let us say in at least in the pharma sector, when we want to do this, right? So even to have a patient population and understanding the demography of all this operating, always you resort to all the details from US, and it is very much lagging on Indian side. So we always have that issue. So whenever a particular disease or indication that we have to go for, there is not enough data to crunch in and then see exactly how we are going to design our drugs for this. Having said that, I think there are multiple efforts are going on, but concerted effort from the government is much awaited to bring in all this in perspective. So ICMR has some of them that is there, but even to say the orphan diseases, when you take it, there is not a big, I mean, the complete list of orphan diseases in India. But if you go to the US, they have the complete orphan disease list to work on. So there are many drawbacks now to use the AI in perspective on ground, whatever that will be useful. So in my personal experience, we were trying to do something related to a microbiome research. And we had a collaboration with IIT Chennai, and then we have been trying to figure out how we can go about this. So public database and whatever that we could get the data, that was not enough to really operate the AI part of it. So again, we went back to a traditional way of looking at things rather than really using the AI. So AI is really good. The concept is excellent. I think whatever that we are going to feed in or whatever is going to be there, that is going to be very, very necessary. The literature part of it now, I think we have gone to some extent where we can use all the literature, the bio-MNI to everything that they are actually excellently working good. But if you look at the database itself from the patient perspective and the disease, I think we are still lagging a lot. So AI is much awaited. We want to really use in every part of our drug research. But at this point of time, at least 20 to 30% we are able to utilize that whole set, and much more to be added from Indian perspective as a data that has to come in, and then it once it comes in probably we will have an excellent output coming from this airport.
Thank you. I do hope that that bridges some of the gap on productivity we spoke about. Dr. Nuwal, let me come to you, right? We spoke a lot on innovation, capabilities, technology, AI, people. Let's talk a little bit about the customer angle, right? And I understand that you guys are also now building a proper, fully fledged CDMO business in addition to the research that is being done for internal launches. As you think about the CDMO business, what are some of the shifts in expectation that you are seeing from the clients or for your customers? And earlier historically, a lot of ask had been fast development at the lowest cost. How much of the ask is now shifting to taking joint risks in development, in research, in innovation, and how is the organization responding?
No, fair point. And I think this again ties into the original theme of value versus volume. Now it is more about how much value you bring to the table in terms of, and it's not about speed and cost anymore, right? Now it's about innovative. Let's take an example of a company that we have been in discussion with. What their ask is very simple. Can you develop a defendable process which they can probably even go ahead and patent and take it forward from there? So generate a new IP for them, and that is exactly what they are asking for. They are not asking us to do something run of the mill, manufacture a batch for us of a plasmid, manufacture a batch of viral vector. They have moved away from it, and so it's essentially outsourcing their entire R&D and their innovation to a contractual manufacturer and development and manufacture in this case. And that is the large shift that is happening. Previously, we had more kind of asks for a fee for service kind of an activity where an ask would be for a plasmid batch, an ask would be to develop a method, and so on and so forth. But now it's an entire package, right? And that's why I was curious about when somebody said an integrated platform from technology to market. For us, this is the integrated platform where we do the entire tech innovation at our site, and then we transfer the whole package to back to them. All they have to come to us is with a two-pager idea as to what is it that they want, and then we can agree on the commercials part of it. So that is a change in scenario. It's more fluid. The commercial deals are more liberal. They are more risk, I would say, risk appropriate at different stages of development. And we do not have these classical ways of a certain upfront and then a milestone. We are now moving slightly away from that kind of commercialization model now. So that's the shift that we are largely seeing, at least in the CDMO space. And again, I'm talking more from the perspective of cell and gene therapy. I'm not talking in terms of the volume business that has now come up, say, with the likes of Samsung or any such Korean CDMOs where they have close to, I don't know, I was just reading somewhere, 7 lakh liters capacity installed. I think it's in your report. And so that's enormous, right? 7 lakh liters for a mammalian culture. You can supply the world over and over again, right? So I'm working out of a simple 500-liter bioreactor, and that is enough for a cell and gene.
What it is much higher than the Western world, probably also much higher than what our Eastern competitors are operating at, whether it is China, whether it is Korea, and so on. So how do you think about capital investment? Our organizations, uh, should the organizations do that capital investment themselves, or are there more structured, better way, for example, through partnerships, through collaborations, through creation of ecosystem that is going to, improve the return profile on that capital, and reduce the amount of money that an individual company would need to spend?
This is very interesting because as you mentioned, as Tulip mentioned, that where we are making, how we are making it is critical. Who are making, those are also critical. Talent and then science. Then where we are making and how. This is very fundamental stuff. So a client, when client visit happen, they try to look at, okay, this is being made here. Is it world class? Is this the global standard? And what kind of standard? So there should be some measurement, and no one can stand alone. It's not like that we can make a facility, we can build a facility which is world class, and they come and resonate, yes, this is exactly we are looking at. It comes with a lot of other stuff. It comes with supply, as you mentioned, ecosystem. It's a very critical part. So what should be there in this kind of ecosystem? If I think of, it can be a CRDMO park, it can be biological clusters, bulk drug parks, also associated with warehouse, logistic hub, cold chain facility, and most importantly, supply chain. Now, is this possible to build up by one group? No, it's an ecosystem, the business ecosystem that conglomerate should work over here. Now, how many of those are enough? It's one or two. As we started with the scaling up, where we are standing today, where we want to go. Now, for an example, China has this kind of 200 bioparks. How many do we have? So we can count on the numbers actually. But if we look at what kind of investment should be there, and why did China has 200 and we have which you can count in our hand? The investment, the facility, the subsidy they got from their government actually played a huge role, which I do understand. So I am practically looking for those kind of support from our government also. So where the huge investment in infrastructure, capex, can be supported. So this is for our country, for our own business.
Absolutely. I think we are sitting in an event which is potentially organized by strategic partners and players, right? I'd come back to the poll for a second on your app before we conclude the session. There is the next question which is there, which is around selection of a strategic partner and what kind of capabilities will influence your decision towards selection of your strategic partners and technology partners. So please, if I could request you to respond on the poll, it will come on under the same link. Technology team can help. And then while people are completing it, maybe the last set of question and given paucity of time, I'll just ask the same question to two of you. Maybe if you are there, Dr. Kasinath, 30 seconds. And the question is quite simple. I don't want a wish for the industry. I think industry wishes often have a tendency to become generic. But the one policy, investment, or internal decision, if it happens in the next 12 months, would move the needle most for your own organization? Dr. Kasinath, if you're there.
Hi, yeah. One policy decision that what we want to do, I think already where we are on the implementation of AI to make things faster, and the technology availability, like a partner like Danaher, where it will be very helpful for us to really expedite the whole system. And also the regulatory part of it, some of the expertise that can come from our partner, that will be very helpful, and that would be the policy decision that we will be interested in to look into.
Thank you. Dr. Nawal, final words from you before we wrap up.
And also one definite policy change which is already there in the draft stages is looking at waiver of certain clinical stages uh, clinical trial stages, and also complete waiver of animal toxicity studies, which is there in the draft stages, has been implemented outside India, but it's still not implemented in India. This will definitely change the way. And also an alternate path to reach a product approval, which is there in China, is the investigator initiated trial path, which through which they even waive off the animal studies. But that is something that, if taken up in India, we can also meet the thousands of clinical trials that China is running. We could come at par with that. Again, keeping cell and gene therapy at the pivotal point of it from my sake, but I have been with biosimilars for close to 10 years now. So same thing applies to that also.
Thank you so much. Anything to add, Dr. Singh?
So I echo with Dr. Tulip. So policy simplification is needed for approval pathway. So this is very much important. One more thing I would like to add for the biosimilars or biologics, which we face many times, is the import and export of material. Those take significant time. Those sometimes get stuck without any reason. So the interaction, our interaction, industry interaction with government is needed. One of my machine got stuck for because they told it looks like a missile. So I think proper education from our side and hand holding are needed also.
Thank you so much, and I can assure you that that the regulators are also looking at it very keenly. I think there is a lot of intent in making it happen, but they also need to come up to speed. But thank you so much. I had a lot of knowledge gain during this interaction, and thank you so much. Thank you so much to
So,
everyone for.
Kshitij, if I can also, say something as a closing.
Yeah. Please go ahead, Dr. Chatterjee.
Yes, so my, one bold wish for the pharma industry would be to move from incremental to disruptive innovation, because that is what can collapse the development timelines and bring products to market faster. And whatever we have been discussing regarding, the use of AI, the development of talent, the government policy, regulatory changes, all of this can contribute to it, so that the image of India we see is that of that which William Blake mentioned in his poem, Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that note, thank you so much for the patient.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kshitij, sir, for being such a wonderful moderator. Thank you, sir, for being here as a panel. Sir, I would like you to request to please stay here, as recognition is the most powerful way of expressing gratitude. For felicitating our respected panelist and our moderator, I would like to request Mr. Chaitanya Gundu, Strategic Commercial Director, Denher Life Sciences, to please join us here on stage to felicitate our respectable panelist and moderator. Thank you so much. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I request you to please join your hands together for Mr. Kshitij for being a wonderful moderator for this evening. Dr. Tulip, join your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us and sharing your knowledge in this panel discussion. And last but not the least, Dr. Suman Bandyopadhyay. Ladies and gentlemen, join your hands together. Thank you, Chaitanya, sir, for doing the honors. Thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you. I believe the session was very interactive and very knowledgeable for everyone out here who have been interestedly listening and participated in the polls also. So next, move ahead to the next segment of this evening. For this, we have another exciting thing which is going to be unveiled now. So all of you will be given the such kind of tabletop on your respective tables. She is giving us such kind of tabletop on your respective tables. You can scan the QR code. Please scan the QR code, as our next speaker will be asking few fastest finger questions to all of you. And you might not know that you will be the lucky winners. There will be a lot of exciting gifts which are coming on your way. The fastest finger first will be how many of you have actually are very fan of Kaun Banega Crorepati kind of events? Only one, sir. So you have to download the from the QR code. There will be a fastest finger question kind of thing which will be asking. You have to download this kind of the QR code will be here, and you have to download this and answer as soon as possible. You download this when sir will be asking question from the browser only. I believe that this kind of tabletop is present at every respective tables. Moving to our next session, it gives me an immense pleasure to introduce an exciting advancement in analytical technology that is transforming laboratory efficiency and business performance. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Pankaj Patani, Dr. Pankaj Patani, Head Application Support, SciSex, with over 20 years of experience in pharmaceutical sciences, bioanalysis, mass spectrometry. Mr. Patani worked closely with customers and industry partners to solve complex analytical challenges and drive scientific innovation. He will be presenting on introducing the Novix V55 system, the most compact triple quad for business impact. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcome Dr. Pankaj Patani. Please join your hands together.
Good evening, friends. Good evening, everyone, scientists, leaders, and my friends who are present in this forum. Thank you very much for joining us. As I said, we are introducing today the Novus V55 systems to the industry. Hopefully, you have scanned. You have already scanned it. Again, repeat, please hear out the next audio video clip which we are playing. The responses to those questions are within the AV clips.
You push. You keep pushing. Always delivering. Always improving. You move quickly. Efficiently. You analyze. You fine-tune. You optimize. Over the years, reliability has become your strength. You've achieved consistency through rigorous repetition. You've earned a reputation for excellence, for exceeding industry standards. So as you scale your capabilities, you pull further away from the competition. You do more with less time, less space. You perform like never before. By keeping costs down, measurable gains add up. Because you're fast. So fast. You defy downtime with repeatable, reliable, and sustained performance. So you don't just achieve success, you sustain it. You deliver your business goals again, again, and again. When pressure and expectations are a given, you trust the partner that delivers performance and resilience when it counts. SciEx Novus V55 system, 5th generation quantitative excellence. Fast, compact, energy efficient, built for business impact.
saying this, it's really privileged to introduce SAIC's V55 series to this audience in Ahmedabad and the scientists who are core and who are working on SAIC's triple chord instruments over the last 5 decades. What transfer when we have developed this particular technology in US R&D was two business critical impacts. The one which thought how we can bring an high throughput for you, wherein we can go and accelerate into rapid drug screening and bringing them into the market. And the second thought which was there with us was how it can take the technology advancement that we have on our SAIC's QTRAP 7500 instruments back onto a mid-range instruments. So where actually this instrument stands? This instrument stands in our entire heart of our LCMS-MS lineup. It stands very close between 5500 and 6500 instruments. Alongside that, it significantly brings a business impact in terms of cost preservation. SAIC's continuously works in the last 5 decades. We are working towards the innovation into the mass spectrometry. The first instruments that we launched was way early in 1981. That was the first commercial triple chord instrument which SAIC's launched, and we labeled that as Taka 6000. I haven't seen it, but I always heard that that instrument is a floor model, maybe 2/3, or I can say 1/4 to 1/3 of this podium is too big. But that time it was the most sensitive model which SAIC has. The second generation which SAIC launched as an API 3 series or the API 3 model. The two innovations which SAIC has brought in that for the very first time we integrated the atmospheric pressure technology towards ionizing the molecules. And subsequently, we also introduced the third generation mass spectrometry, which we call as the first triple chord instrument that launched as a tabletop triple chord instruments. The innovations on this instrument, the first was API 3000. After that, we come up with the API 4000 model, which you can see here as an image, which by far I can say in many labs, even in Ahmedabad, is successfully running from last 2.5 decades. The fourth generation launch was the SAIC's 5500 instruments, which comes as a blue line series model where the Linux cell has been converted into a curved cell so that the box become more and more compact. And when you see the V5500 instruments, it's even compact, comes in a 2 different variants, a triple chord as well as in QTRAP, depending on the necessity and the need of the industry. These slides or this section talks mostly on the specification of this instrument and what power the instruments brings for you. The first and foremost is more interesting to see that how many maximum MRM a scientist can monitor in their experiment. So in a conventional experiments, we always used to have a 2, 6, 8, 10, 50, 100 maximum. But with these instruments, you can monitor as many as 33,000 MRM transition per second if you are operating in a scheduled MRM mode. If you are not operating in a scheduled MRM mode and you are operating in a conventional LC chromatography, you can still able to monitor as many as 1,000 MRM, and that is purely possible because of the Q0 acceleration electrode which you have introduced on this technology, and that learning is coming from 7500 instrument. The other benefits you can see, though we have brought the sensitivity 2 times higher than 5500 instrument, which is our proven model, but we can still able to push our signal to noise ratio to as good as that of 1.5 million is to 1 for the razor pen. The other innovations which we got here is the next generation of the ion source. I'll show you in my next slide, where you can see the OptiFlow ion source, which can tolerate from 50 microliter to as much as 3 ml per minute kind of an LC flow, and you can able to deliver the results as a high throughput analysis. Come up with an power consumption, but most important to see and note, which is on the top, is the 35% smaller footprint when compared to the 5500 instruments. So when I stands a maximum 2 feet kind of an MS, sitting idle behind a much bigger LC liquid chromatography part of that instrument. As I said, 30% smaller footprint, but it is really bringing you a nearly 40% of more energy consumption or any savings for the industry, and that also supports towards decreasing nearly 40% of your hit or I can say cooling efficiency that is required for that particular lab. And why it is possible, how is it possible? By the introduction of a dry roughing pumps. More advanced, more engineered roughing pump which SAIX has introduced over here, which are the minimal maintenance along with the minimal wastages. As I said, how we have achieved the highest sensitivity when we compare to our preceding models or the previous models. So when you see the innovations of the SAIX iron source, many of you are currently working. Probably the first two, Turbo V and the iron dry V source is very, very popular. Whereas when we launched OptiFlow Turbo V source, typically for the protein peptide characterization, and the learning comes from there, and we transfer that to bring you an OptiFlow iron source which you have incorporated on Novus P55. Little change when it compares to the 7500 instruments. We have not given you an E-lanes on this iron source, where compared to on the 7500, it was the Pro OptiFlow, it was the OptiFlow iron source which we are giving on the Novus V55 instruments. The other innovations which we have transformed from 7500 to this instrument, as I said, is the accelerated electrode, which is over here, Q0 accelerated electrode, that suffices and supports towards monitoring as many as 1000 MRM per second. Along with that, the HUD detector that supports towards both positive and negative polarity switching. This slide just quickly summarizes the overall innovations which we have gone on these instruments. One, it gives you that accelerated electrodes. Along with that, supports towards the energy efficiency, much compact and the small footprint. The sensitivity gain compared to 5500, we can easily see nearly 2 times better than 55, and more advancements come with respect to the mass range. So this instrument's Novus V55 comes with a 5 to 2000 kind of an M by Z, which systems can easily take over 5500 instruments. A quick snapshot on the summary comparison. When I say 6 orders on 4500, the linear dynamic range still we are maintaining. We are still adhering to the 6 order linear dynamic range. MRM comparison, we could able to boost twice than what we could able to achieve on 55 and 4500 instruments. The mass range has given an upper edge along with the 6500, 7500 and 4500 between 5 to 2000. But most promising is the 33,000 scheduled MRMs that the scientists can definitely able to monitor during their chromatographic run. A quick couple of applications which I'll talk here, but maybe the scientists can visit the SAIX booth. They can take the entire brochure over there with the Novus P55 that gives in-depth insights onto this couple of research works which we did in our global R&D as well as in the India Demo Center. The work which you carried out on the degludec, insulin degludec peptides, has a higher molecular weight looking into the size, and the first Q1 comes at 1527, where I can say that the 5500 has a limitation because of the mass range. But whereas with Novus P55, the 65 and 7500, you can easily cater that requirement even for those molecules which are the higher molecular weight. And that represent the LLOQ and ULOQ over there, that the 25 picogram is the LLOQ we could able to achieve without any carryover or a nullified carryover for this molecule. Along with that, the linear dynamic range stands somewhere around 3 to 3.5 times. The second applications goes for the core pharma industry, where from last 4 years we are struggling around N-nitrosamines, we are struggling around NDSR analysis. One of the key example which you have taken is around esomeprazole API, where we need to characterize as per the regulatory filing. We need to look after the NDMA, NDA as well as the NMBA. 3 representative chromatograms I have shown here, but you can see you can characterize all nitrosamines impurity even equally onto these instruments. The instruments can come up with a nitrosamine specific gas generator as well that minimizes the requirement of your high pure nitrogen or the H0 air which you require to measure these small nitrosamine impurities. That gives an added advantage when we come around with the Novus V55 instruments. Saying that the instruments comes with a furthermore advanced SAIX-OS software. So what are the new advancements are there when we are moving towards the SAIX-OS? If somebody is working with the analyst and they are seeing a transition into a SAIX-OS, the major advancements comes from the batch automations. What does that mean? So if in the regulatory environment, if I'm setting up a batch, I'm creating a batch for 100 or 120 samples to be analyzed in that particular subject samples or into that clinical batch, and my chromatography is very well set, my retention times are defined, I can define the processing method, I can define the result table name. Even if the batch finishes in the midnight by 2 o'clock, the results are ready for the QA reviewer or for the scientist to come in the morning and see it. There is a complete automation in terms of a data processing. There is a complete automation in terms of a data reporting as well as data exporting. You can also visualize just by defining some flagging rules, the batch is passing or the batch is failing. So 84.99, the scientist has to zoom out number of digits to confirm that the batch is pass or batch is fail. Here in the software, if it is 84.99, the software will tell you that the batch is failing, the batch is not passing. So that kind of advancement when you see into the batch automations. Method optimizations, we have categorically worked in the directions. If you are moving from instrument methodology from 45 to Novus or 55 to 65 or 75, there is a provision that you can do the entire optimization on a column or entire optimization of the FIA. That quickly supports you towards some rapid method development as well as the parameter optimization, and you can preserve that record. That record can act as a strong proof to the regulatory agency, either it's the internal or an external, to tell that yeah, I did my part, I did the right optimization and the records are there with me. The new thing that we have introduced here is on the easy reporting. So maybe in a subsequent slide you can see here. In the easy reporting, the customization is completely driven by templates. What you need it, so what you need in a header, what you need in my footer, what I need on a body, how big my chromatogram should look like, what is the front side of that chromatogram. Everything you can customize through these wizards, and it's as simple as that you do the PowerPoint presentation. Extremely simple way, do it for the one, and you can carry forward to the subsequent project, subsequent root directory, as well as subsequent steps. The last and the most important introduction was the metrics tracker. So this is an advanced feature which we have got into the instruments. It comes with 7500, 8600, which is our top model, and we are launched with Novus V55 system as well, where it helps. It helps the scientist to see the system performance or the project performance over a period of time. If you have a system administrative consoles where 3 or 4 instruments are clubbed to a central panel, it can also give you information that how the instruments A, B, and C, and D is performing. You can also define a criteria threshold saying that 75 to 125%. If my peak area response for my LOQ deviate by this, please alert it. So it gives an alert to the scientist as well in terms of there is a drop in performance of the instruments as it moves forward. So all these features are building up into a 5.0, which we are expecting to be launched probably next 2 to 3 weeks. And you can see that these are coming as a further advancement with the current version of SciExOS, which is 4.2. Saying that, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So it's now to express our heartfelt thanks to Pradeep, sir. So for this, I would like to invite Ms. Nidhi Agarwal, Danaher Business System, DBS Lead, Danaher Life Sciences, to please join us here on stage and felicitate our respective speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, join your hands together for Dr. Pankaj Pradhani. Moving ahead to our next session, I would like to invite our respective moderator for our first panel discussion, Mr. Kshitij Vijayvargiya, Dr. Tulip Nawal, Dr. Suman Bandyopadhyay. Please join us here on a stage for a group photograph along with Dr. Chaitanya. Please join us here on stage. Please join us here on stage for a group photograph, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on stage. Moving ahead to our next segment, one more interactive panel discussion. For again, I would like to request a lot of lot of questions will be asked. If you have not downloaded the app yet, please download the app. You have had really answered the questions. All of them. You have had really answered the questions. All of them, all of them. Do we have answers also them? So do we have answers? Okay, a lot of excitement has been built up for all of you. So answers will be decided, answers will be given, and of course, the participants who have been participated, winners will be announced before the closing of the last session. I believe that a lot of curiosity and a lot of excitement has been built up. As you know that amazing sessions are going ahead, and for this next session, I would like to invite Mr. Anand Vardarajan, Director Regional Marketing, APAC Saittiva. Please join us here. He will be joining us here on stage as a moderator. With our respective panelists, I would like to invite Dr. Ravi Kumar Trivedi, Vice President, Zydus Life Sciences Limited, Dr. Sanjay Dhawan, Senior Director, GPRD and Site Leader, Baxter Pharmaceutical India Private Limited. Dr. Harish Chandilya, Vice President and Head Biologist, Torrent Pharmaceutical Limited. Dr. Vaibhav Dubey, Senior General Manager, Sun Pharma, who will be joining us here on online. Virtually, he will be joining. So please, ladies and gentlemen, join your hands together for our next panel discussion. And here we'll be discussing on the topic, building resilient biopharma ecosystem, securing India's path to global leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I think we are sitting here in a sweet spot just before dinner. So please hear us out. I think the discussion is going to be fantastic. So we are here to discuss on building a resilient biopharma ecosystem and securing India's path to global leadership. I think all of you will agree that we are in a very critical step now. Even though innovation and science has peaked a lot, but what we also see is set of challenges. It comes in the form of supply chain disruptions. You have talent gaps. You have issues related to manufacturing in terms of its complexity, and also changing government regulations all the time. So in this juncture, the Saittiva Global Biopharma Index has stepped in and it has created a report which basically looks at multiple pillars which spans across manufacturing, R&D, supply chain, talent, policies, and also very recently a very important topic called as sustainability. So India has made a strong progress and it's now considered among the top 10 in the Global Biopharma Index rankings. The question before us today evening is very simple. So what should India do to leapfrog further from rank 10 to probably going among the top 3 of the global biopharma ecosystems globally? So to do this, I invite all the panelists. Really happy and proud to be a part of this panel. So let me start by asking each panelist for a quick opening thought. So I'll start with you, Dr. Ravi. So what is one capability India must strengthen most urgently to become a global biopharma leader?
Okay, thank you. First of all, Denher and Bluetech Media for having us here, and thank you all the audience, our scientific fraternity for braving this extreme weather and being here. With that note, even thanks to our fellow panel members, I will say two things, not one. One towards I will take a generic side where a strong dependence on single country, be it directly for the API or like on the KSM. If you see majority of the API what we are getting from China, let's say, out of that, 2 or 3 are so basic, let's say for the antibiotic, mainly penicillin and other antibiotic, that we are not yet able to make KSM for that. That is one part certainly we should look into. And then second is the contrasting thing. While we are heavily focusing on, like, let's say CDMO manufacturing, which is essence because we have to support our like population for a good health, simultaneously a clinical research along with the translational part is very, very important. That comes towards like NC, NB or other modalities. So in place of one, I will say these two capabilities certainly we have to look into. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. So moving to Dr. Dhawan.
Hi. So first of all, thank you very much, Danaher, as well as Blue Tech Media. Thank you, everyone. I know that today it was very difficult to reach to this, destination for all of us. But again, we all could take our time and reach over here. From my perspective, I think you rightly said, Anand, that we have done well. For example, we are already at 10th level in Biopharma Index. And that is coming out from our earlier capabilities that we are, supplying 20% of generics, about 60% of vaccines. We have all this ecosystem set up. But in order for us to become leader or take the position from 10th to 5th, or maybe more upper positions, you just don't become by doing only one thing. It's the, I will say, the resilient and patient-centric ecosystem, because unless until you can make a good product, you can do a good science, you can manufacture it, but unless until you don't reach at the patient level, you are actually not able to solve the problem. So I would say that anything which leads to resilient and patient-centric ecosystems, whether it is in quality, it is in R&D, or wherever it is, and we don't stop unless until we make our products accessible to the patients over there.
So it's more like the last mile connectivity, which is taking us there. Thank you.
End user, basically. Yeah. End user, your target,
right.
Whatever
Yes.
it is,
Yeah.
basically. Whether it is with collaboration or something, I think that's what I would say.
Sure. Thanks, Dr. Dhawan. Moving on to Dr. Chandilya, your thoughts on this?
Thanks, Anand. So I think I will pick up a cue from the previous discussion what we were having. One of the critical component in moving from where we are to the next level in biopharma could be the talent pool what we have. I means lot of platforms we discuss this thing. I have little different opinion than what was discussed and in general what people expect. When we call about having a industry ready talent, being the industry very focused on generics and biosimilars, or more like a repetitive kind of a business, we have started assessing ready for pharma means technologically ready. Means we expect that whoever comes to the industry should be technically strong so that they can start contributing from day one. I feel little different that if we really have to go from where we are to the biopharma leader globally, we need to have better trained scientists. Because till we don't train our people in science and they bring in something new on the table, we will keep doing generic business, which we are very strong, and for the last many decades we are doing that. But the previous panel has a comment that can create volumes, not the value. The value can only come when we start contributing scientifically. So that's I would show there.
So that's a classic debate between scientists and GMP trained engineers. So that's a great one. So thanks. I also invite Dr. Dubey. He's on screen. Thank you so much for joining, Dr. Dubey. So the question to you is, what is one capability India must strengthen to become or to be counted among the top biopharma ecosystems globally?
Right. Thanks, Anand. Hope I am audible.
Yes, you are.
And many thanks to Danaher and to Blue Tech Media for accommodating me online. It was really tough, and the harsh weather continues not only at Ahmedabad but at Vadodara also. And tough to find someone to drive me to Ahmedabad actually. So it was just tough. But yeah, thanks for this. And yeah, I would just like to put up in a way that I agree to all the panelists first that they have their different perspectives here. And from a capability enhancement, actually, our vision should be clear. What happened in the case of generic industry also, and now it is happening in the biopharma. So we are more focused on biosimilars, and our whole ecosystem of development actually is going on a track of low cost manufacturing, rather than we being driven by being the best or the world class research engine globally. So the way Dr. Chandali was mentioning, and Dr. Sanju, as well as Dr. Trivedi, it is like we have to build up our own strong R&D capability and a innovation ecosystem, which could be driven by government initiatives or uh, through venture capitalists or PEs coming in directly into biotech startups or biopharma startups, actually, which add on to our what to say global competitiveness in the innovation system, actually. So because obviously manufacturing is something which we are doing, and our counterparts in South Korea, China, they are doing pretty well as compared to us. But yeah, if we are good at the innovation part also, then obviously that capability will be a long-term investment actually in this particular stream. So we have to build in capability more on that side. Obviously, manufacturing excellence, quality standards follow up actually once we have our own innovation system, which is like a world-class innovation system in the country.
Thanks, Dr. Dubey. So let's move on to the next section, which is focused on supply chain resilience. It's one of the biggest pillars in the global CITO Biopharma Index. For this, I'll invite Dr. Trivedi. So what do you think is the biggest supply chain lessons for Indian biopharma based on the recent global disruptions?
Uh, One part for sure means everybody, I think, little bit made a touch base on the API related challenge and the reliance on a single country. That is something certainly we have to come out. I will take little bit away as Dr. Dubey rightly added from the innovation side. Um, just imagine like the small, like those who are in innovation or the discovery, they must agree with me. Any single thing you indent, either you are a product based company, let's say, or service based organization, automatically 4 to 8 weeks timeline everybody adds for indenting anything. That is the biggest pain. I like COVID time, like thankfully it is past, but a big learning that time was uh, okay, I have to indent liver microsomes. Now you have to say it is not available, because we used to indent kind of hardly 10 vials for liver microsomes, which is needed for phase 1 metabolism. Very simple thing. I still wonder why we are not able to do it on our own, so that not only we are able to reduce this kind of timeline. However, somebody from our previous, I think Dr. Arni was talking on that, Atmanirbhar Bharat or Make in India. So these small things, why we are not able to do all reagents. I took only one name of liver microsome. I think everybody will agree with me. Media, cell lines, you name anything, and we conveniently add that 8 to 12 weeks timeline and all. And the second thing, like you see, let's say Russia Ukraine war started, everything got impacted. We were we were getting one study done on the for one mandatory clinical pharmacology, 14C radio level study. Simply, though we were the product side sponsors, CRO said we cannot do it. Timeline only is not affected. However, they say material coming from Russia that got affected, starting material cannot be done, and that has taken our cost too high. So there are two things. One is time, second is the cost. So certainly we have to think all those possible thing which falls under SCM can we do in India? Can we make it India centric? And then finally, can we make a central hub? I think Suman has added very good example from China, 200 hubs. Let's say those kind of centralized thing having in India where we can make a conglomerate, and let's say 20 companies are telling, okay, bare minimum this much of the quantity we will be needing. This can be like few of the things, and then obviously bringing like the tool which can, obviously I have to mention AI kind of tool which can give an access quickly, the availability all over, like whether in India Pacific region or somewhere outside, and that way probably we can streamline such kind of situation. But the basic thing again will be the self-reliance. So I stop here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Trivedi. Uh, Moving on the same lines to Dr. Dhawan, what do you think, or how do you feel that a resilient healthcare and biopharma supply chain will look like in practice, in actual?
So I think I agree with Dr. Ravi. What he said is that timeline, cost, those are very important. And one example that I would like to give is that, he spoke about his development activities, but I would say that these all things delay of, getting a simple thing has delayed, for years and years that the, products. And we all know that during COVID times, there was a single chip which was scarce, and then all the instruments were not available because that chip was not available. And same happens with all the products, where even if the smallest thing you are not able to get, your everything gets delayed, and that has repercussion on what you were saying, Anand, that companies are not able to make their marginal profits, they are not able to reach the market on time, and they are not able to take the market share because they reached their late. So it's not only that, supply chain today is not an activity, or procurement is not an activity, that is a strategic capability, I would say. And I see over here four aspects to overcome. One is visibility. If you are aware of the risks, and you must be aware of the risk. For example, if you are working with the CMO and you find there are challenges with the quality system, it's quite possible that you have submitted your product, and the industry, that organization gets an OI status. So you think that your product will never get approved, and you will get double of the time to manufacture it somewhere else. So if you are aware of the risks, uh, please work on a backup plan. I think that's one aspect of this. The second is redundancy. Basically, obviously, it's very hard to work on everything on a dual, or backup plan or dual vendors. But if you think that your product is high value or has a lot of patient impact, I think it makes sense to have the backup plan or a dual vendor. And then agility is also very important, right? Many times, we identify that, okay, if this will happen, we will take this vendor, but we all know that it takes 6 to 8 months to get that vendor onto board. If you want to manufacture that product, there are change controls within the manufacturing site, many things are there, basically. So to be honest, I'm being in R&D, but I have seen products not getting delayed because of innovation, science, and R&D, but because of all these pieces, double the time which we had originally, you have taken for. And again, I will say again, I will keep that, patient centric or patient focus, resilient supply chain. Your all export system should be like that. You should be able to give your product to the patients. And if your product is not available in the market, obviously you are going to lose the market share. You are going to lose the margin that you have. So I think these are a few aspects for me, which I believe.
Thanks, Dr. Rohan. I think very well said. Supply chain being a strategic enabler is something we should be looking forward to, a resilient supply chain model. So we have a poll question coming up. So I would request all of you to open your polls and vote for this one. I'll request the organizers to put up the poll. And this one is the first poll question is, what is your organization's highest priority for improving operational resilience?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you find any difficulty in downloading the app, you can download from the Play Store also. From the Play Store also, it is Leadership Forum app.
Okay, while you're doing that, let's move on in the interest of time. So the next big theme here is India's leadership opportunity. And for this, I'll invite Dr. Shandilia's comments. So what should India do to move from being strong in generics and biosimilars to becoming stronger in innovation and biologics?
Okay, I think you're putting me in tight spots. Okay, so I think, see, one of the big thing I see as a part of industry is the risk-taking ability. Means being part of the industry, I have seen that we are becoming very comfortable with what we are doing, and that has led us to keep doing what we are doing, right? There are definitely incremental changes in the things what we do, but not disruptive in a sense. So I think the pharma leaders, they need to take more risk, and we should not forget that a society like us, we are very good when we are put up in the situation. Means hardly we perform when we are doing something well planned, but when we are put up in a sport, we do really well. Right? COVID has shown it. We were never leader into these kind of situations. When COVID happened, we came up very strong, put up the vaccines, different type of vaccines, supplied to the world, right? Supplied to our own people, which is not a small task. So I think that is a evidence that our scientists, our people who can do it, they can definitely do it. You need to put them in situation, and that situation only the managements can do it, right? So COVID is one example. It has also changed the perspective. So if you see for last, let us say, post COVID, last couple of years, the biotech innovation or biotech as a field has really picked up very well. So if you see, there are a lot of new innovation, new therapies are coming. There are a lot of startups coming up. Government is taking a lot of initiative to bring biopharma to a level. Last year budget also, there was a huge initiative taken by Government of India, where they have set up a huge fund to promote biologics as a sector. So definitely there is a momentum, and as a biopharma scientist, I feel this is the moment. If we don't catch it, we are going to miss it, and then again we will be talking maybe down the line 10, 15 years from there. So I strongly feel as a practitioner in the industry that we have to take risk. We have to go in areas where we can offer something more disruptive than incremental changes. So that's my take on that.
Thanks, Dr. Shandilia. I'll request for your comments, Dr. Trivedi, on this areas of innovation for taking us beyond generics and biosimilars.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was really eager, in fact, to raise my hand, whatever Dr. Shandelia has added. So let's say, Miss, my side poll question. So this is nothing to with QR code and all, just for a thought provocation. Let's say we say generics, API and all, roughly where we stand with our generic industry altogether. Any number like in $1 billion, we talk everything in US $1 billion, USDs. So anybody want to say any number? It's not a test. I just want to like trigger some thought which should help on this innovation question. Okay, Miss, I don't want to test anybody's knowledge, but let's say 25 to 30 billion altogether. Now, nowadays, no debate, no discussion in pharma we can have without mentioning the word AI, and second one is GLP-1. So now let's come to the GLP-1. But please don't get carried away. Have good dinner after this discussion. Now, let's say only two drugs, semaglutide and Mounjaro. That means Ozempic and Mounjaro. No brainer. We are hitting the market more than what entire this our generic industry is having. So this is the power of innovation. And you will be surprised to know, just imagine sometime back when we used to discuss about, let's say, obesity, We will talk about VLCC, we will talk about exercise, we will be talking about, obviously there were like certain therapeutic area people were trying to develop the drug. However, GLP-1, which was originally for the metabolic disorder and diabetes, we could realize there are so many like benefits. And obviously one of the majority benefit which industry could cash, but for sure there was no market per se in the pharmaceutical industry for, by drug treatment. So this is the power of innovation. Entire India's, we are, Dr. Sanju rightly mentioned, pharmacy of the world and this, that, vaccine, everything, wherever you, but just imagine what kind of volume we need. Entire building is gone, okay? 1,000 scientists, 30,000 scientists. On the contrary, if you see Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly, what key? Even if we are not innovative, we want to develop generic drug. From where we will get generic and biosimilar if innovation is not there? So again, a positive thing, Dr. Shandelia said, sorry for my long answer, but this is what always runs in my mind. Very positive. And government schemes. Just imagine NC, we could able to approve few, but CDSO has helped us in approving CAR T cell therapy. So we should take pride in like approving, getting it from, let's say, IIT Bombay, let's say we Tata Memorial and ImmunoAct together could do this miracle. And such kind of miracle, why they are important, the original cost of 5 crore came down to 25 to 40 lakh rupees. Point number one. Other positive thing, Orchid got its NDA drug in 2024. Now Wockhardt got Genic. Zydus is having its two product already in the market and two NDA, like one they got like approval in China. This is indigenously developed drug, decidustat. This is for the anemia due to chronic kidney disease. And then the second saroglitazar, which is not only for the diabetes but for the NFLD. Now we call it MFLD or MASH. So these are the positive thing undercurrent. I totally agree. These are all there. Starters are there. And one thing I always say, any discussion we say, oh, we can do it, ultimately it is not a rocket science. But have you ever thought, rocket science we are doing so well? Why not other science? ISRO has done. Now Skyroot has demonstrated. We are the only third country which privately launched Vikram 1. So with this thought, I want to stop. Sorry for my long answer, but I certainly see there are positives. We must move from volume to value, from manufacturing towards new drug. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Trivedi. I think it's not rocket science will stick with us for a long time. So do we have Dr. Dubey online?
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, sure. Dr. Dubey, question for you. From your perspective, what can India learn from other countries that have moved up quickly in biopharma? So we have examples from Singapore and Korea, which have really zoomed in their rankings. So what do you think?
So I had like, I'll answer it this way, that we can learn multiple things from different countries actually. So if you start from Singapore, so yeah, they initially built up a good biomedical hub system actually. They built up their universities. So we have seen the ranking, actually the Singapore ranking going up. But if you imagine in 2005 to 2026 now, both of the universities, Singapore, NUS and NTU, National University of Singapore, and Nanyang Technical University, climbing from below 20 to now within 5 or 6th rank actually globally. Not only publications, but they are also having their academia industry collaboration also running up very, very fast. And recently, I just have a case study here. Like I have been visiting Singapore from last 2 years for some different conferences, and they're also for the vaccine thing actually, because they were dependent completely on Western world for their vaccine, even on India. But the mRNA platform was not available even in India. So Singapore, they started their own what to say hub specifically for this type of emergencies actually if it comes up in a later period actually now. So they are actually looking in all those aspects ecosystem wise. They are the ones who are the best actually from this aspect. Obviously, ecosystem wise, US you cannot, no one can debate actually. They already have the ecosystem from the starting, from a biotech startup or a biopharma startup, getting the enough funding actually for those startups. So there also they have an entirely different type of system, and a group of 8 or 10 people can have their own company starting up. So and there is a different set of people who are doing manufacturing completely, and there is a different set of people who are supporting regulatory, who are supporting IP. So in a way, actually, they have small groups actually combining together to launch a product, and they have early exit, late exit type of phenomena happening, wherein the investments could be actually transferred, and they can get the gains out of that as well. So that the whole financial ecosystem is also there. Coming to the second part of like post ecosystem, actually innovation part. Obviously, US and Switzerland, you know about the innovation uh, coefficient they have, and the type of IPs they file, the type of vision they have, actually in all aspects of modern science and engineering actually. So obviously that from ecosystem to innovation, actually we should look at that. Okay, we should look at US and Europe, and specifically Switzerland, Denmark, on the innovation capital actually that they have built in. From a manufacturing excellence, we are not even close to South Korea and China in terms of manufacturing agility. Obviously, in all aspects, in biopharma, pharma, or API or excipients, China is far ahead of us. And then in terms of quality standards, if you see NX1, if you see whatever new quality systems coming in, Europeans, Swiss, Danish people, they're far ahead than what we are thinking of. But yeah, what we have to look into is to take the positives from all of these actually and build up our own ecosystem, which is like that science could be global, but technology could be local. So we have to build a platform that is local to India, wherein we can have all these systems, all these things coming in, and we take the positives from all these things and build our own platform where we can have a agility in development, agility in manufacturing, and patient-centric approaches, what Dr. Sanju was mentioning, for catering our own healthcare needs as well as global needs. So this is something what I want to focus on today, Anand.
Thanks, Dr. Dubey. I think you covered on a very important point about how different players in the ecosystem can collaborate, like government, industry, academia. So that's very well said. Thanks a lot. Moving on to the last two very critical pieces, which is manufacturing and digital. So for each of them, I'll invite Dr. Chandelia's comments. So what manufacturing capabilities should India invest in now for what you're mentioning, for risk taking and to leapfrog into biologics and advanced therapies?
Yeah, I think, see, technology-wise, definitely we need to move more towards customized solutions, right? Because the large-scale kind of manufacturing of MABs or biosimilars or generics is happening. But now the new class of therapeutics coming is more precision medicines, CGTs and all that. You don't need like huge setups for those kind of manufacturing. It's more like smaller ones, but more quicker to reach people because you don't have too many patients to do it. But I think on the traditional part of manufacturing also, cost is a very huge driver for getting new technology into manufacturing. And one of the latest happening in monoclonal antibodies and biologics is continuous manufacturing. So definitely we need to think about some disruptive technologies to challenge the existing status. And I think in my previous role, we got the chance to develop this continuous manufacturing of monoclonal antibodies. It was a huge thing, and it impacts the outcome of either it is cost or the way you manufacture it or the way you invest it. It's huge. So definitely, I think going forward as commercial leaders and the people who are involved into manufacturing, we need to definitely think about different way of manufacturing. If it is fed batch was a traditional one, we have to move to intensified processing or continuous manufacturing, something like that. And also for the newer therapies, for quick modular kind of technologies where you can cater immediately. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Chandalia. Well said. Moving on to Dr. Dhawan on the digital aspects. So we have seen that one very good example is from Korea, which has been able to move up the ranks mainly because of interoperable digital ecosystem. So what's your take on what should we do on the digital aspects?
I think digital, AI, automation, they all are impacting our life hugely, to be honest. And they are moving at such a high speed that sometimes, at least I feel that fear of missing out, that, oh, I'm missing many things, what's happening around me. And I would say that this all can help us from end to end. And I will say that, okay, from a industry perspective, if we take from our portfolio, right from portfolio selection. So I'm thinking about an idea, how does it goes to the market, and where all of these can play a role. So in portfolio, you can see now today, anyone can. Earlier, our portfolio teams only used to see that, oh, this molecule has got this much of market, or we are earning this much. Probably today the databases are available and anyone can find out, oh, this molecule has got this much billion volume and are in value, and this is how it is happening basically. So I think that's something pretty important. But one thing with this is that you have to learn. It's not easy, in a AI you need to learn how to write your prompt so that you get the desired result. So there's a lot of learning at users end also. You just do not get that information. So and from an R&D perspective, I would say that people are using molecular modeling, computational science, AI to reduce your experiments. And I know that in our previous discussion there was a discussion happening that those other countries use we are at 30 to 40% less. It's because we need to have those right tools so that we understand. For example, if my scientists are making maybe 50 experiments, if they know right in the beginning itself, oh, this is not going to work, through computational modeling or molecular modeling, computational science, AI, obviously they will carry out 50% less experiments and they'll be more productive. So that's and honestly, there is an automation. I know that there are very small companies who are automated in such a way that they can carry out 100 200 experiments in your feasibility stage in 2 months. So can you imagine the time that we used to take to about 9 months? Now you can do it in 2 months. So that's the kind of agility it is giving. From a manufacturing side perspective, I think there are a lot of initiatives which are happening, at least from a documentation perspective. This AI and digitization has helped them, putting them everything onto the surface, dashboards that helps them to figure out their own problems. They are able to find solutions. They are able to make the right decisions. Many of the companies are also working on the stability protocols which are required for manufacturing sites. And beyond manufacturing sites, people are using AI and other things for your demand forecast, so that your inventory doesn't remain like that. And similarly, at all the places, your digital marketing, there's no area which is left, and your speed has increased. By using all these things, if you use it in your daily work also, you can see that you are able to do a lot of work today as compared to what you used to do earlier. And I tell to many people that if I had to do my PhD today, probably I would have taken 50% lesser time than what I took in 2002 when all these things were not available. So I think pretty exciting times, I believe that, and we still have to learn more about it, leverage it for all our operations, all our end to end this, and probably that will help us in reaching. So that's must to have as one of the capability for for becoming the leader or architect of biologicals.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dr. Dhawan.
So just if I can add one more point, what I have noticed is that the way the tools and technologies used now, the scientific writing has gone up very significantly. Because what we have seen in industry is that we have a lot of people working on bench, trying to generate data and all that. But with time, we have become very poor in writing the data and the interpretation of the data. The AI is helping those people definitely. Suddenly you will see mails coming very polished, right? So it helps, right? And you don't fight too much. Otherwise, the English was so you used to feel like fighting. Now it comes very polished.
It has definitely made our lives easier. I agree to that. Okay, in the interest of time, I'll just probably close with one quick question for each panelist. Probably if you could help answer in one word or maybe one sentence at the most. So if you could recommend one policy or investment priority for India, what would it be? Starting with Dr. Trivedi.
Yeah, only in digitalization means I will add only two more things. Translational research part, adding in MIDD approach, model informed drug development. I will not elaborate in the interest of time. Now coming to the policy, maybe a few more seconds I may take. Recently, I got opportunity to be a part of Niti Aayog discussion. The good part is like government is really trying to understand what we need to improve. So as a policy matter, it can be a tribrid kind of thing, not that Glenmark tries specific antibody, tribrid model here. So government, university and industry. So there, what kind of policy we need actually, let's say government is helping from a policy front. Here policy is, let's say regulatory policy, CDSCO support you guys are seeing. They are trying to like approve things faster for sure. They are really putting effort and there they are inviting industry, academia to give their opinion how we can fasten it. Part number one. Second thing is industry is funding things and then academia whatever discovery they are doing how we can bring it from like only discovery towards real innovation and commercialization. Last two, let's say, point to add there, a common innovation hub or incubation center, translational research center, and industry is coming forward in providing academia industry-based training. All these kind of amalgamation will certainly help us in like making a policy and achieving. And you will be happy to know I am telling everything in my personal capacity, but still this part certainly why I am sharing here sitting, we all should be happy that government is working on such kind of policy. Thank you.
Dr. Dhawan?
So I think one thing which I have in my mind is uh, making this talent ready for biopharma industry. I know there were a lot of conversation. I would say that we are at a point when Trump has got a lot of policies where probably I'm assuming that our colleagues, your people over there want to come back, and this is the right time for India to take those because they have tons of experience in all these things. And then taking these fresh graduates, postgraduates from our own country, we can make them learn. We really have to. I remember the times there when there was expertise in oral was there, then the expertise in injectables was less about 15 years ago. And but today I think we need to talk about bioprocessing, all those upstream, downstream, then all advanced analyticals, those are all needed. Maybe that's where government can support. And the current situation which is happening across the US can help us in getting the talent back to what we are aspiring for as it happened in China.
Yeah. To bring people back, exactly. So you, Dr. Chandelier?
Yeah, so I think in addition to what I said that we need more scientifically trained people, one more component I would highlight, or I sit in a couple of these committees where the skill development or the how to utilize that fund what government of India has created. The industry academia collaboration has not done very well in India. There are parts and pieces of it here and there. You will see few examples that some collaboration might have happened and it has came out into a commercial thing, but practically it's not there. So I think the government has to take initiatives where more risk-based projects are taken up by the academia scientists, and then transfer to the industry. So I think that component is the right time now, because if we have to move into a unknown territory with more valuable assets, then definitely that collaboration can bring a good angle into it.
Thanks, Dr. Shanilia. Moving to Dr. Dubey, your final word on what do you think, what one policy would you recommend for India's
So,
progress?
yeah, so Anand, I would recommend actually a single window policy, what our government is also looking at from a pharma or a biopharma perspective. Like if you see, if I have to start doing an activity, actually I have to apply form initial form 29, a test license. Then I have to apply form 11, that is an import license, or CT10. Then I have to go to RCGM. Then I have to apply form 29 for manufacturing at my plant. Then I have to tell them that, okay, I am not manufacturing small molecule here, I am only manufacturing biologic. Then I have to explain them that, see, it would be in a single use system. There won't be any exposure of drug to the biologic there in the fill and finish case. And then when I have to do a clinical study, I have to give a BE NOC. So many things actually. Obviously, the regulations have to be there, but there is enough time we are spending actually applying for all those things to get a clearance. Clearance takes, now government does have a SUCOM board, but it takes 45 days to give me a response. When I go to US, I go and directly, when I'm looking for a batch manufacturing, I will discuss with the CMO there that, okay, I need this to be done this way. I may take a scale up batch and then I'll run my PPQ batches there. No one asking, no government asking me why you are taking that batch, what and all. But here I have to explain to everyone actually. Then when I have to import the devices, so obviously India imports 90% of devices. There has to be control on imported devices, yes. But that control shouldn't hamper my development phase, right? So that is hampering. Now, whenever there is a device with a needle attached to the device, it takes long time at my at my imports to get that device into India. I cannot waste that much time actually in getting the devices only. Either you should have an ecosystem wherein we can have devices made completely in India, so that all our drug delivery devices, not the devices for prosthetics or anyone, it is not concerning me actually, but some things which are concerning from a bio or a pharma or a biopharma perspective is the drug delivering devices like auto injectors, pen injectors, or my pre-filled syringes, or something like on-body platforms, something. I cannot wait for them for 4 months just that, because government official is not understanding. So that those understandings have to be built in. Although CDSO is working beautifully along with BIRAC, DBT on bringing all these things at a common platform, but that information what industry has now is not getting translated to that information to the regulators also actually. So that particular thing in terms of policy change should be there, that once I have created one a digital code or something for one of my product, that whole thing remains constant. And whenever my regulator needs to discuss it with CDSU or with DBT or someone else actually, on that with that particular digital code, actually we can discuss it, and the answers are quick. I get a response in a day or so. It shouldn't take long time. So that is one part. On the investment part, obviously government should be more we know that government has allocated 10,000 crore in Biopharma Shakti. It is for 5 years, right? And in case of Biopharma, the investments are very huge. It's not 10,000 crore may not be that meaningful for investing. Like if I invest in 5 small scale companies, 2,000 crore may not be that much actually. So that allocation of funds from a biopharma perspective has to be more precise, and has to be actually discussed with the key leaders, like the way Dr. Trivedi was in Niti Aayog. We have to tell them that, see, this value is very less. There was a PLI scheme when COVID was there, that value was 55,000 crores. So we have to actually look into things in all those aspects. Yeah. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, Dr.
If Anand, I know everybody is hungry. just one quick what Weber was saying, and I think, see, we are as a pharma, we are kind of global pharmacy and whatever it is. We have too many ministries controlling it. It's high time we should have one ministry which controls the biopharma, pharma, drug manufacturing, whatever happens. Now there are more than 10 in ministries which are involved into the regulation of different aspects of drug development. So I don't know when that will happen, but that should be there so that everything happens from one department.
No, that's clear. I think one window of clearance and consolidation in industries, ministries, sorry. So great. So we come to an end, but before that, just the last poll question, which is poll number 2. Where do you see the greatest opportunity to improve productivity? So if you could kindly, the audience, if you could kindly take that on your mobile and answer for that poll question. And while you're doing it, it has been a pleasure, talking to all my fellow panelists. Absolutely wonderful hearing your learned comments. And it's very clear. I think innovation definitely is the core of what we are doing. But beyond that, surrounding innovation are a lot of other aspects that the panelists today spoke about. One is risk-taking, digitalization. We have R&D ecosystem, trying to build the policies which could shape the future for India, and things like that. Not to forget, sustainability is another big piece which is coming up. It has been seen that the companies which follow sustainability have consistently shown improvement in their bottom lines and top lines, and they've been able to achieve revenues. So with that we end. I think our sincere hope is that India is no longer called the pharmacy of the world, but then innovates further to move further into spaces like biologics and advanced therapy products. Thank you so much for your patient listening, and wish you a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us here. I request you to please stay back on stage as I'm inviting Mr. Dev Ananthan, Director, Strategic Marketing, Danaher Life Sciences. Please join us here on stage to felicitate our respected speakers, panelists, our moderator for the day today. Join your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Harish Chandilya. Dr. Harish Chandilya. Moving ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Sanjeev Dhawan. Dr. Sanjeev Dhawan. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Ravi Kumar Trivedi. Please join us. Please come forward. Last not the least, our moderator for this session, Mr. Anand Vadrajan. Please join us here on stage. I would like to request everyone to please come forward for a group photograph. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us here on this panel discussion. Thank you so much. Thank you. And moving ahead, it's time to spill some beans, ladies and gentlemen. So how many of you have actually taken this quiz from this voucher? How many of you have really taken? It's time to spill. A lot of people are really excited because it's time to announce the winner's name and answers to them also. For this, I would like to invite Meenakshi Solanke, Marketing Specialist, SciSex. Please join us here on stage for announcing the winner's name and the answers to it. The lucky winners, please cross your fingers as we are going to spill all the beans right now. Join your hands together for Meenakshi Solanke, Marketing Specialist, SciSex. As we have 3 lucky winners also for this fastest fingers quiz contest. For giving up the prizes and the gifts, I would like to invite Dr. Pankaj. Please join us here on stage. As Meenakshi will be giving all the answers, and Dr. Pankaj will be giving gifts to all the winners here.
હેલો કેમ છો અમદાવાદ આપણે ઓલવેઝ મજામાં જ હોઈએ બરાબર ને ઓકે સો ફર્સ્ટ ઓફ ઓલ થેન્ક યુ સો મચ એવરીવન ફોર મેકિંગ યોરસેલ્ફ અવેલેબલ and giving us your valuable time to make this event successful. So now it's time to announce our winner for Novus quiz. And we have received tremendous response for this quiz. So thank you so much everyone for your active participation. So I request Pankaj to announce our third winner.
Mike, sir.
The first goes to Mr. Vipul Shingla from Ahmedabad. Dr. Tulip Intas. Last, Mayank Patidar, again from Intas.
So thank you so much Pankaj and congratulations all winners. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it was a very interactive session tonight, and I believe that despite of all the weathers, you have been joined here and making this successful, as knowledge sharing should never be stopped. As we come close to this enlightening evening, I would like to extend a heartful thanks to all our pioneer, esteemed guests, speakers, panelists, all who have been joining us, our exhibitors today who have made, despite of all the weathers, a special note of appreciation goes to Denher Corporation and Blue Tech Media for bringing together this exclusive platform dedicated to advancing innovation, collaboration, and leadership in the pharmaceutical and life sciences industry. I will also like to express my heartfelt thanks to all the exhibitors who are exhibiting today. I request everyone, please visit all the booths here before leaving. I request everyone, knowledge sharing is not just that we have shared today and we have forgot. It is something not about knowledge sharing, it is all about innovation that we are going to do for in our pharma industry. All the networks we have made today, all the connections we have made today. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Good night and travel safe. Before moving ahead, I would like to request to everyone out here who have made tonight, despite of this weather, please join us here on stage for a group photograph. I request everyone, please join us here on stage for a group photograph. Music. Please join us here. I request everyone to please visit all the booths here. Exhibitors have exhibited their booths. So before leaving for a networking dinner, I request everyone to please visit all the booths out here. Thank you so much. Good night and safe travels. Thank you.